Just a few days after the emergency meeting of the State Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress, led by the state chairman Daniel Nwafo, the party, in a unanimous decision, adopted the indirect mode of primaries for all elective positions in the party ahead of the 2019 elections. But the decision seems not to go down well with some of the members of the party, particularly the Imo APC coalition.
In which all members of the party in the state are allowed to vote and determine their choice of candidates, will satisfy and safeguard the candidate selection process in Imo State and accord the laudable decision of our respected NEC of APC.
Mr. Ekechi's position is, however, rejected by the chairman of the APC in Imo State, Mr. Daniel Nwafo, who is calling on APC supporters in the state and the public to disregard the statement.
One, that NEC adopted direct primaries for His Excellency President Buhari's primaries. We all agreed on that. And we also agreed that because of peculiarities among states, that states should go back and convene the State Executive Committee meeting and decide on the mode of primaries to adopt. The Constitution grants that we can go for direct, indirect, or consensus.
While both parties remain divided, party members are hoping that the national leadership of the APC intervene in the matter.
Welcome back. That's where we'll start off today's conversation with the issues within the ruling All Progressives Congress. What is going on? Court nullifying the executive in Rivers State, suspension of Adama Esco, the indirect and direct primary argument back and forth. To help us understand and shed more light, we're joined by a member of the APC's Board of Trustees, Mr. Jasper Azuatalam, and he joins us from our Abuja studios. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Azuatalam, what is going on in your party?
Wow. If you ask me what is going on in my party, I will tell you that my party is preparing for the primaries. That is what I know that is going on now.
With the back and forth over direct or indirect primaries, has that been sorted out?
Of course, I think today is Thursday and the primaries are starting on Saturday, starting with the governorship primaries. And I can tell you that the leadership of the party, the NEC and the NWC and the party ESCO has sorted out all issues. And I think the final statement regarding the primaries has been issues. And let me clear this issue of direct, indirect, primary, and consensus. These things are ways of electing people that will flag the flag of the party in the general election. And all these processes or all this method are methods that are accepted by the Constitution of the All Progressive Congress. But there is a window of choice in this modes of primary, like the indirect, direct, and consensus, so as to allow the party to be able to take a decision and adopt a mode that will not affect the party negatively. For instance, if you look at the statement that was issued by the acting national publicity of the APC on behalf of the APC leadership, you would see that there are different modes of primaries adopted in the different states, ranging from Imo State, where direct primary is adopted, Ondo State direct primary, Rivers State direct primary, Anambra State, and places like Kaduna in the indirect primary, and so on. What has happened is that coming from the APC National Convention, where we elected the leadership of the All Progressive Congress, at the national level, at the state level, and then at the local government and ward level. It is expected that because this is a contest, there are going to be challenges that will arise at the end of the exercise. And you could agree with me that we did that exercise very close to the preparation to the 2019 general election. You know the argument that raged in those days, whether we will allow the present leadership to continue. And at the point it was adopted that the present leadership will be given an extension of 1 year. And after that, the president, in his wisdom, advised the party to look at the legal issues. That we sat down and we looked at it, and we saw that the president was actually right, and we wouldn't take a decision that would give the party challenges, that tomorrow somebody will go to court after we have done our primaries to challenge the eligibility of our candidate and possibly quash the eligibility of our candidate. We wouldn't want to enter into such a situation. So the party decided to go to a convention, and which we did. But that was very close to election. And you know, the implication is that having a convention very close to election, the reason it will always come out the way it did is that at that point you have had a governorship aspirant, you have had a senatorial aspirant, you have had a presidential aspirant, and everybody is going to the convention hoping to achieve what will enable him or her actualize his or her personal ambition. And because of that, we have some little issues, but those issues have been resolved by the party, and the remaining ones are in court. Like, for instance, in Imo State, where I come from, you are aware that during the convention that the congresses held in Imo State, from the ward to the local government and to the state, and for some reason, the governor was not satisfied with that, and went to court, and at the end of it, the court, the lower court, quashed the process and advised that another Congress should hold. And another Congress held. But I want to also tell you that the case has just passed through the lower court. And I can tell you there is over 90% chances that what the lower court ruled will not stand the ruling of the appeal court. And so the party, in its wisdom, looked at these states that are having some legal tussles and said the only way out of this issue is to adopt a direct primary. Because what the direct primary means is that every candidate, every member of the party, every registered member of the party is eligible to vote. And if every member of the party that is registered votes and produces a candidate, then there will not be any ground or any basis for anyone to go to court to challenge the eligibility of the candidate. But if you say you want to do an indirect primary means that one of the faction of the party, one of the so-called faction of the party, will have its delegate go to the primaries and elect a candidate. And what happens tomorrow if the court, either the appeal court or the Supreme Court, now nullifies whichever faction of the party that has gone to conduct the primary? Invariably, the candidate is no longer eligible to contest the election because he is no longer a candidate to represent the party. So the national leadership of the APC, in its wisdom, looked at states where there are legal issues, where cases are still in court. You just said it that in Rivers State lately there was a judgment and a counter judgment. And also know that in Ondo State there was also a judgment relating to the leadership of the party and some of these states. So the party now adopted that instead of it to go to adopt an indirect primary where there are legal issues and where the court may decide otherwise.